Pleasure to go. This is real, brother. This.
And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wrestle Purist Raw Review. I'm your host, Ibu of Wrestle Purist, of Selfmade, of Wrestling Twitter, of the universe, of Knicks Twitter. And I'm joined as usual by my co-host, Rob of Selfmade, formerly of the Island of Relevancy, and formerly of the C Nation. And we're going to talk about last night's episode of Monday Night Raw, a pretty notable one. A show that featured a Jey Uso World Heavyweight Championship defense against Seth Rollins. A show that had the return of Sheamus, and also technically, I guess, the return of Austin Theory. And a Roxanne Perez Io Sky wrestling match, a singles match. So we'll talk about all that. We'll talk about the things that happened on the show, and I'll also give you guys some news surrounding the show, including, because I spoke to someone in WWE today, including some of the creative touches and flourishes I was informed about. Because last night was a show, Rob, where Paul Heyman got in the weeds of the formatting of the show, specifically for his stuff. But there were a couple cool things that I was told were some Heyman creative flourishes. So we'll get into that. I guess that's your hook for today. But we'll get into that. We'll get into everything that happened on Monday Night Raw. It was a show that I thought was a good show. And I actually didn't watch a lot of it live. Like, it was on, but I was focused on the Knicks game. And so it wasn't until like after the game was done that I went back and like looked at everything. And I did think it was a good show. Thought it was a good show. And I liked that there was more wrestling than there had been recently. So we'll get into everything. But guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask us them. Feel free to like the video if you haven't. Please send super chats. You guys will drive the conversation and the focus of the show through your questions and the super chats and discussion topics. So go right ahead and go crazy with those. And subscribe to Wrestle Purist if you haven't subscribed already. While you guys are doing that and filing in, Robert, talk to me, man. What's up?
Man, I am feeling really good this afternoon after a fantastic episode of Monday Night Raw last night. Going into Raw last night, I didn't know what was going to happen because, as you know, every week SmackDown is terrible. So I
it's
didn't
a really
know
bad
what
show.
to.
It's really
Yeah,
boring.
it's like oh my, yeah. I was legit 9:30 sitting in my chair on Twitch falling asleep. Like it was wow. But
so
going into Raw, wait, what were you saying?
It feels like SmackDown feels like it's 3.5 hours, and the crowds are always dead, bro. They're always dead.
I'm on to look, mind you, I'm on Twitch watching SmackDown with AO and Chris O, and it's like 8 o'clock, 8:15. I'm like, bro, it's only 8 o'clock, 8:15, and like 8 things have happened already. And I'm like, it's only 8 o'clock, but like, holy shit. But Monday Night Raw, the difference, the opposite is Monday Night Raw is 2.5 hours and really only feels like it's 2 hours.
And Rob, also like there's some weeks where they do kind of stretch it with content. Like there's some Raws on Netflix recently where they only do 4 matches, and you're like, damn, where's the wrestling on this show? You know, and today it felt like they made a point to reverse that, Rob, because there were 5 matches that all got pretty good amount of time today on this show. And so like it felt like there was generally always wrestling happening. So it did feel like they finally reversed the trend, because like the Raw after Mania was only a 3-match show. And it worked for that show because of the angles. but like I didn't want that to be the norm. That can't be the norm. Like I want wrestling on my wrestling shows, and
Right.
last week, if you remember, it kind of stretched it because they did 3 matches, and then like if you remember, they did the angle at like 10 p.m. and you're like, is a fourth match even going to happen? And then they did like kind of a fourth match, which was like a half angle. But this week it was like, no, we're gonna get 5 straight up wrestling matches. So yeah,
Right. So and last night was just like you could tell. I could tell a lot of the influence that was on the show from Paul Heyman, as you said, especially with his segments and the way that they went about doing the World Heavyweight Championship match in the main event. And it's just like last night, like you said, the wrestling aspect of the show is something that we really need to touch on because they focused a lot heavily on wrestling last night. Like some people didn't. I enjoyed the second half more than the first half of that
mm,
Otis and Rusev match, and then the
mm.
post match of that match was really good. And then we got a good match from fucking JD and Penta, and then we got a good tag like there was so much action last night on the show that you could come out of the show being like, man, Raw it's a pretty good show. So
What's funny about it, Rob, is when wrestling, we live in a culture now where like because everybody has to be like defending their side and or the perceived ideology of their side. WWE fans online will like fight you if you simply say, "Hey, can we do more matches on these TVs?" Like I remember last week when I was like, "Hey, can I get another wrestling match?" I feel like I haven't seen wrestling in like 30 minutes, and people will tell me, Rob, people will be like, "Yo, go to AEW if you want that." I'm like, "What are you talking
this is
about,
not a wrestling show. We are an entertainment program.
bro?" They'll literally say, "If you want that, go to AEW." I'm like, bro, I just want matches on the TV. It's not the end of the world, you know. And I'm not saying I need nothing but endless wrestling. Hold on. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's not. I'm not asking for endless wrestling, but I don't know, man. I want content. I want content. What's
Yeah.
happening? What's happening?
What
Oh no.
happened?
Oh, sorry. I was thinking out loud, reading a message. Um, but anyway, so yeah, like I just last night was a good bounce. We had 3 live angles / promos. We had 5 matches, and we fit it all in 2.5 hours. So I can live with that. 5 matches that all get some good amount of time. I also, and this isn't like obviously this is not ideal. Releases aren't ideal. WWE doesn't have to fucking do them, but it's like a soulless company that just cares about profits and stuff. But you know what I've noticed, Rob? I've noticed that the TVs after releases tend to be more focused, and I think part of it is like a post-release clarity from like Paul Levesque. And what I mean by that is, I think when he's not 100% sure of when they're actually going to do the cuts, or like, I feel like that's the period where like, a lot of people are floating, and because there's a lack of clarity of who's sticking around, you get TV that sometimes doesn't have like a super focused direction. And
Mhm.
um, beyond that, like I feel like when he knows, okay, all right, this is my crew for the next couple months. I think when he's like, "This is my crew for the next couple months," and I know for a fact these are the guys I'm riding with the next 4, 5, 6 months. The TV gets more focused, and like last night, it was like, okay, he's like, I know I'm gonna keep Austin Theory for the next little bit. I'm keeping this guy. I'm keeping that guy. I'm keeping these wrestlers, and you almost get these TV shows that have like post release clarity. Obviously, there's not ideal circumstances to get better TV, but it is something I've noticed. So there you go. Um, Rob, let's go
Yo.
right to the super chats.
All right, guys. Remember, you steer the show with your super chats, not Josh Toffee, $4.99. Before we get to the Raw review, can we get a quick Knicks and Celtics review?
Sure. So like the first quarter, there's a lot of back and forth action, and the Knicks were keeping up with the Celtics in spite of the fact that they were turning the ball over way too much. There was a lot of turnovers. The Celtics were getting out in transition early and often, but the Knicks were doing so on their end too. So there was a lot of back and forth scoring. The Knicks kept it close in spite of the sloppy play, and the game really fell apart when Karl Anthony Towns went to the bench with his third foul. Karl Anthony Towns gets his third foul early in the second quarter. He goes to the bench. Mitchell Robinson comes in. Mitchell Robinson is one of the worst free throw shooters on the planet. And so the Celtics started doing hacka Mitch. And Mitch is missing a bunch of fucking free throws. And the game starts to slip from the Knicks, and the Celtics start hitting threes and getting out on the break and fouling, and the Knicks can't regain momentum. They quickly go down 10. There's about 2 minutes left in the second quarter, and they're down 10. And then you're thinking, if you're a Knicks, like, all right, keep it within single digits. But no, it just balloons to like 16 before the half. And Derek White is hitting threes, and Tatum's hitting threes, and the Celtics are rolling. And coming out of the half, you're like, all right, you're just like, all right, let's see if the Knicks can reverse this. And at first they couldn't. You know, Derek White hits another three to push it to 20 when there was like about 6 minutes left in the quarter. Cat couldn't get in rhythm when he got back in the game, like in the third quarter. And the Knicks are down 20. I want to say it's 72-52 in the third quarter. And you're like, oh, it's over. This is over. This is what the Celtics do, Rob. They steamroll you. They push the pace. They have all these long, athletic guys who can shoot, who can get inside. And for whatever reason, Rob, in that third quarter, the Celtics decide to go tunnel vision. I don't know if you've seen the game, but Rob, this dude,
oh yeah, I was watching.
They took 20 shots in the third quarter, and 19 of these 20 shot attempts were three-pointers. 19 of 20 shot attempts were three-pointers. They were playing very one-dimensional basketball, and it's just three-pointers, top of the key three-pointers, sizing them up, a lot of Tatum Brown isolation, deep threes, and they start missing. And they're a team that easily can just they can just switch it up and drive in and get to the free throw line and run a post up for Al Horford or whoever it is. But instead, they're just taking a bunch of they're settling for contested 3-point shots, and they start missing. And the Knicks quietly, slowly, OG Anunoby hits a couple 3-pointers. Jalen Brunson gets inside. Karl-Anthony Towns some tip-ins, and the Knicks start to cut into the lead. It's a 17-point game. It's a 16-point game. It's a 15. It's a 13. And out of nowhere, it's a 10-point game. The Knicks get us as within as close as 6, but then right before the quarter, I forgot who on the Celtics hit 3. So we go into the fourth quarter down 9, and basically more of the same. The Celtics keep shooting and missing threes, and the Knicks are leaking out on those threes because missed deep threes lead to long rebounds. Long rebounds leads to leakouts. Leakouts leads to transition buckets for the Knicks. That's what the Knicks are doing. Transition baskets. Boom, 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 boom. And out of nowhere, Rob, it's a tie fucking game. And I'm watching Raw while watching this, but Raw is on my phone while I'm watching the Knicks game. And I was just kind of quietly looking at what was happening with the Knicks. And I was like, holy shit, this is close. And the thing about the Knicks is they're not as good as the Celtics. But if you keep it close enough with 3 minutes to go and they have Jalen Brunson, the Knicks do have the best closer in the series. Brunson's a better clutch player, crunch time player than Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown. And he starts hitting a couple really big time 3-point shots down the stretch. And my God, fucking the Knicks go up 6 at one point. Jalen Brown hits a 3. The Celtics find a way to tie the game. They actually took the lead at one point. They were up 1, but then OG Anunoby hits a corner 3. Knicks are up 2. Then the Celtics get they score inside. It's a tie game. The Knicks fail to capitalize on a really like a bunny at the rim. Brunson misses like a layup or whatever. Overtime, and in overtime, really the heroics came from the defense of Mikal Bridges and some big time shots from him and OG Anunoby, who Josh Hart got him on a great find in overtime, and he got an and-one dunk. Bottom line is, fucking Mikal Bridges, he didn't score well in that game, but his defense down the stretch was gigantic. And his defense, the length of OG Anunoby, the scoring of OG, Jalen Brunson heroics, the Knicks got a good win yesterday. And here's the thing about the game. Like I said, the Celtics are the better team. But Rob, you know that we hadn't beaten a single great team this season. The Knicks were like 0 we were like 0-8, I think, against the top 3 teams in the league. That being
bro.
Cleveland.
Every time I seen a Knicks Celtics game, it was always a blowout. And the Knicks, like the Knicks was always getting blown out by the Celtics every time I seen. So
yeah, and right. So like it was one of those things where we had no victories in the season over the Celtics, the Thunder, or the Cavs. And so much so that even though we won 51 games, Rob, I think we had like the 4th best record in the league. It was all invalidated by most people because it's like, well, they don't have no chance of winning a championship because they can't beat any good teams. And there's something to that because as a Knicks fan and as a team, the team itself, Rob, they didn't believe they could win a chip because it was made very clear, yo, when we face the best teams, we don't be competing with these niggas. And
Yeah.
what I think last night's win did more than anything, it was like a big psychological boost. Because all you need to know is you just need to see that you can do it one time. And if you can do it one time, it's like, okay, we have the blueprint. And so the Knicks have to take the lessons from last night's game and carry it into some type of confidence, because I think this changes the complexion of the series immediately. Even if that just means a 6-game series and whatever. But like, a lot of people thought the Knicks could get swept in this series. And that's not going to happen. So I do think it's a series now. And I do think it goes at least 6. I think the Knicks get at least another one. So wish my team the best. What's up?
The thing is, I do see it being a long series. The problem is, though, like you said, the Knicks are not really good at facing good teams, and then two, a longer series really does favor the Celtics because they've been doing long series now for like years. Like they've been having series with the Sixers and all these other different teams and shit. So, but I think like you said, the Knicks beating the Celtics last night show, and it'll give I feel like it can give them the confidence that especially when Jason Tatum in the fourth quarter, bro. There needs to be conversations had about Jason Tatum in the fourth quarter because, oh boy, is he fucking terrible.
So that's what I'm saying is like what the Knicks need to do is keep it close in the fourth. If you keep it close and then run Brunson ball, you're gonna have a chance. Like I said, the Celtics, they'll build leads on you. They can build a 20-point lead like nothing. But if you keep that shit within 3 points, 4 points, 5, 6 points, and Brunson has the ball with 4 minutes to go, bro, you have a puncher's chance. I trust Jalen Brunson within 3 minutes more than I do Jason Tatum. I really do. So I do think there's going to be another game in this series where Brunson heroic saves the Knicks. The question is, can the Knicks string 3 more of those? I don't know. I do think they can do 1 more. I don't know if they can do 3 more games like that. The Celtics aren't going to miss, 45 fucking threes again. But we'll see. We'll see.
Bro, and then the I know you probably didn't watch it, but yo, that other game was spectacular too, bro. The Thunder and Nuggets. It seemed like it was gonna be a boring game, but that shit did. And niggas got gamed by Aaron Gordon, bro. You should be ashamed. Yeah, that shit. So the playoffs have been really good this year, though.
It has been a good playoffs. It has
like
been
the Pacers and the Cavs were good the other day. Like I feel like this year has been a really good year for basketball in the postseason. So
yeah, and I also want to shout out before we move on. I want to shout out OG Anunoby, who like people don't talk about him like that, but he's quietly been playing like an all-star for the last like 2 months.
Oh yeah, like he's ever since that one game he had with that lady in the crowd.
Yeah, wasn't it Sunny Lee? I forgot the woman's name, but
ever since
that nigga
game,
saw her and just it unlocked something in his spirit, nigga. So
OG's always had that confidence. So like ever since the bubble when he hit that 3, he was like, oh, I knew that shit was going in. So he's always had this confidence.
He just had injury problems, but now it's like two-way player, hits 3-pointers, gets dunks in transition, defends like a fucking demon. Like OG's a very good basketball player. So shout out to him. Hopefully Cat can get going in this series, and we'll see how the rest of the series goes.
This is also true. No, well, that's not really true. He's watched a couple games.
God, that's not true. I've been watching the whole season. I just resent this team. Me and my brother are cynical Knicks fans, you know. But I did watch Raw though, folks. I again, like I said, I had the Knicks game primarily on my TV, and Raw was like on my phone. And I looked at it like periodically. But I did go back and watch the show afterwards because I'm a professional and I know I've been covered. I got paid to cover Raw, so I watched the show, and I will cover Raw on this show. So you guys will get our opinions on the happenings of this TV. And like I said, I'll give you guys some behind the scenes insight as to some of the little touches creatively that were implemented on Running at Raw. Go ahead, Rob.
All right. Corey David, $2. WWE to CMLL wrestlers either get down or lay down.
Well, WWE, I know I said this to the self-made audience, and I might have revealed it also to the Wrestle Purist audience. And now Dave Meltzer went completely out with it, and Lucha Blog confirmed it. But WWE is absolutely going to be scouting CMLL's wrestlers. Because the truth is, there's just not a lot there on AAA's roster. especially by way of young, dynamic, exciting talent. They've lost a lot of that in recent years, Rob. The Lucha Brothers used to be a part of Triple A's roster. Roosh, once upon a time, was on Triple A's roster, and numerous other wrestlers that are not there anymore. And when you watch a modern Triple A show, Rob, a lot of the people at the top of the card are niggas that were stars in Triple A in the early 90s.
And bro, like Negro Casas, like all these other
bro, Latin Lover and Negro Casas.
And then Nino Hamburguesa is like a top star now. And it's like, come on, bro. Like it's 20. It's
until his retirement, Vampiro was like main eventing shows in AAA in like Monterey and Tijuana, and their roster had been like decimated. And so what I'm getting at is
the one young star they could have looked at, Octagon Jr. is signed to TNA.
Right, and he'll probably get on this upcoming big show, but Triple Mania Reggie, I believe, is the show. But like, my point is, this WWE run AAA, they're absolutely gonna go. We're gonna just throw money at niggas from CMLL and get them to jump. And the truth is, they're gonna succeed at many of them because CMLL, their whole thing is, nigga, you stay with us if you want to do real lucha, and they don't fight to keep their wrestlers. Like they want to keep the talent budget at a certain level, Rob. And so people in CMLL don't get crazy money unless you're like a tippy top guy. Like, for example, Mystico gets paid big money. And I'm sure probably Dorada has a nice new deal, but I don't know that 100%. I know Soberano Jr. signed a new deal not that long ago. But like a lot of these other guys are liable to leave the second WWE waves a decent amount of money at them. Like if they throw fucking an extra couple thousands of bucks at some of these other guys, they will leave. And that's WWE strategy. And so much so, Rob, that Dave Meltzer revealed, and this is the truth, that AEW Grand Slam Mexico show where CMLL wrestlers wrestle on there, according to Lucha Block, the CMLL wrestlers themselves are treating it like a tryout for WWE. Like they're gonna go into those shows like, yo, the Fed is watching this show. I'm gonna try to see if I can get paid, which is crazy.
Which actually, this could lead us into this super chat that just came in. Hush 499. What's up with this huge lucha kick from the Fed? Is it NXT Mexico? Is it because of the dub? Just odd from the quote unquote cinema company. The answer here is obvious.
Yeah, it's just because of the AAA thing. Before they announced AAA, Rob, I started noticing. I'm like, man, I'm starting to see like Garza every week now wrestling. I'm seeing like, Dragon Lee getting more matches on TV. Pentagon is doing great, and Phoenix is on the show. And I'm like, it's a lot of Mexican wrestlers. And I'm like obviously that's a cool thing. But it was suspicious on WWE's end. I'm like, when did WWE ever give a fuck about Lucha? And it was like, oh, clearly there's an agenda. And then boom, they buy AAA. Of course.
Well, I wouldn't say it's AAA outright. I mean, clearly they didn't give a fuck about. Well, they've been trying to obviously they've been trying to buy AAA for like a minute, but it didn't really come into fruition until this Grand Slam Mexico thing really started. It got announced, and then the CMLL partnership really started getting kicked up because they're doing like 2 different shows with AEW and CMLL now. It's just like a few months ago, we were just like, "Yo, where are all the luchadors at on WWE TV?" And now, like you said, we're seeing everybody, and it's just like, well, where the fuck was this care about all these luchadors like 2 years ago?
Yeah, and so it's 100% done. It's 100% done for the purposes of just kind of like giving those guys a bit of some juice behind them right before they send them off to Mexico. And again, like I said, WWE will be watching the AEW show. And the talents on those shows are literally going to be doing an open tryout, knowing that Levesque is watching, I'm going to show out to get paid. And Lucha Blog was talking, because Lucha Blog was basically saying that, like, he was saying that he thinks CMLL should put some protections in, legal or contractual, to not make it that easy, I guess. But they're just choosing not to do it. And I don't really understand that strategy, but CMLL is a very proud organization. I want to make it clear to the audience also, part of the reason why they don't really trip when they lose wrestlers is because CMLL historically always loses great wrestlers, and their internal star making like process is it's so like consistent and reliable, Rob, that like they lose Stephanie Vaquer and they're like, all right, no problem. We have Persephone, for example, and they lose certain other wrestlers and they're like, that's cool. We'll make this person. We'll make that person. They've lost Dragon Lee at the height of his powers, and they were able to survive that. They've lost other great wrestlers at the height of their powers, like La Sombra, and they just keep chugging along. That's what they've always done. Even just this last year, I mean, people like Neon and Futuro really emerged into big names. Sobrano Jr. was somebody who was a no name a couple years ago. Mascara Dorada, he was like a completely different guy a couple years ago. I forgot his name. It was like he was the son of another luchador, and they had like a different name for him, and they just made him Mascara Dorada, and now he's like a superstar on the show. Like the Mascara Dorada that people see in the gifts and shit, this nigga was nobody 2 years ago, or about 2.5 years ago, and they made him into a main event superstar. Templario was nobody a couple years ago. Atlantis Jr. was nobody a couple years ago. They just shit out stars. AO said Stephanie Vacquier at AEW, CMLL, New Japan revise their contracts if they appear on TV, AEW TV pay-per-view. There's a somewhat lengthy period that they're barred from signing WWE. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And Lucha Blog was kind of pointing out that like he was basically publicly telling CML like, yo, y'all should like put in some protections for the Grand Slam Mexico show. Like you really should do that because the boys are looking at this as a payday from WWE. And so we'll see what they end up doing. Because it does feel kind of vulnerable to just go out there and put some of these guys out there. Like if you put an Esfinge out there, WWE's just gonna sign Esfinge, or like a Cavernario. But like maybe these upper guys, I'm less worried about, to be honest with you. Like I don't think WWE will be able to snatch like Dorada. I don't think so. And Mystico is not leaving because he gets paid well. But some of those other like down the card people that are talented but not like main eventers and they don't get big money, they will absolutely snatch them up. Like if Hunter just sees them, he will snatch them up. He'll snatch fucking Futuro or Neon or Rujido or whoever it is. So we'll see what they end up doing. Yeah, that's kind of
We
just the
will
bottom
have
line.
Fuego if we have to have Fuego.
Oh my god. All right, let's go to the next super chat.
Ryan Cicchini, $6.99. I personally thought this was Gunther's best promo. He showed some anger, which is usually beneath his persona. We may get an all-time beatdown. Ibu, I wanted to talk about this segment specifically.
Go for it.
I tweeted out last week, like before I got cooked, that Pat McAfee is like a better promo than like a good chunk of the roster.
Mm-hmm.
And and people looked at me crazy for saying that, but it's just like the way he controls the crowd. Now, I'm not saying he's better than the main eventers and upper mid carders, obviously, but like some of the mid card people that obviously need work on their promos and the lower mid card is who I mean. But like the way he has control of like the audience and the way he goes to Omaha, Nebraska. He goes to Omaha, Nebraska. And he's like, oh, he starts mentioning shit about the town. He starts talking about stuff within the town and the universities and the local schools and all. Yes, I agree with this. He's a way better promo than Logan Paul, and they both do the same shit for a living. But the way
he's way better at
yeah, like he shits on Logan Paul.
Yeah.
And so the way the way he uses that shit to like control the audience and to get the mega pops from the audience, and he actually got the crowd to be able to boo Gunther and boo his entire promo. I loved this promo segment last night, bro. Like it brought a different side out of Gunther, and Gunther was basically just like, yo, I'm going to violate you this weekend. He was just like, yo, I am going to like do things to you that are not liable to be on television this weekend. So.
My thing is just, and this is not at Ryan, but guys, Gunther does this every time he talks. Like, when are we gonna stop doing the thing of like Gunther cuts promo? Like, wow, what a promo from Gunther. He like really showed something here. This might be his best promo yet, brother. He does that every time he talks. Every time Gunther talks, and he's like, I will break your body, and I will break your spirit, and I'm going to make you tap or lose breath in your lungs or whatever. He does this he's a great commanding promo. Gunther is literally one of the best talkers in North American wrestling. When it comes to being on TV and being a domineering villain on the mic with a commanding voice, with bass in his voice, with a sense of danger to how he speaks, this is what he's been doing this. And I don't know why.
Yes.
Again, it's not at Ryan, but everybody does this. Like every WWE fan does this. Gunther will talk and like, man, wow, it's what it feels like, Rob. Do you remember when RVD did that shoot interview where he was talking about how Sean what Sean said to him? Because RVD was talking at some type of event, and Sean like looked at him and was like, wow, Rob, you were like funny and witty. and smart. Like, wow. And Rob's like, yeah, I'm not a fucking idiot. And in the same vein, WWE fans, every time Gunther talks, like, wow.
He's actually pretty good at this.
Gunther can talk, and he can use his personality, and he's so good. Wow, like what a promo by Gunther. This might be Gunther's best promo. He cuts promos at this level every time.
Every fucking week, bro. Every week.
Gunther's been a great fucking promo, bro.
Yeah, and it's just like I feel like the way he got in Pat McAfee's face, you saw the confidence from the audience, for that the confidence that the audience was giving Pat McAfee, and like the big smile on his face. And when Gunther got in his face and was like, "Yo, I am going to like physically abuse you this weekend,"
he said it'll take the grace of God to remove my hands from your fucking like throat or some shit.
Bro, you saw the smirk from the confidence of Pat McAfee go from this, and you go to oh shit, like
yeah, because Gunther carries a sense of danger with him when he talks. It's like when Samoa Joe plays heel. And another good thing is that the crowd actually boos Gunther. He gets real legitimate heel heat when he talks. And Gunther sucks and you tapped out and stuff. I saw a tweet where someone's like, "Oh my god, he's ruined." Like they're chanting "you tapped out." Brother, it's wrestling. He's a bad guy. He's a bad guy, and because he's a bad guy and a coward, he was put in a sleeper hold. He tapped quickly to get out of it because he's a pussy. Because that's how villains act. That's how heels act. And now the crowd is a thing to get at him for. And Gunther, this will fuel him because now the fans have a thing they can pick at the heel with, and the heel can use that as motivation to kill everybody else in his side missions. That's normal wrestling. That's always happened. Guess what, folks? Serious submission specialist Kurt Angle, they would sometimes have him tap out specifically so he could do the bit that when they chant "you tapped out," he's like, "Shut up! No, I didn't. Hey, you want to keep chanting that? You want to keep like that? That's pro wrestling. That's
yes,
wrestling." I see takes like this, and I go, guys, like I'm not trying to call people like dumb, but like this is how the medium functions. It's stuff like that get me to make the tweet that I made earlier, where people thought I was being condescending, and I wasn't talking about subjective enjoyment of like matches. I was more talking about like understand what you're consuming, bro. This is how the medium is constructed. These are all mechanisms to get characters certain reactions, and in the case of Gunther, you give him these little holes so the fans and the characters on the show can pick at it, and then Gunther can respond with great anger and fury. And if without these holes, then you have less avenues for storytelling opportunities when he's not the champion. Because again, he won't be the champion for a while. You need to give him these avenues to tell these different types of stories, and the other people on the show will exploit the vulnerabilities that he will then fight back with. Like that's just wrestling. That's just booking. That's just storytelling. But I digress. To Ryan Cicchini's point, McAfee is a much better promo and wrestler than he is a commentator. And so with that, I don't want the match to go like 15 minutes, but I do think there's a pretty decent chance this is way better than the Jey Uso match at Mania for Gunther.
I think it goes
7-8
at minimum 8, max 10, and I think he just beats the shit out of him for like 10 minutes. And Pat McAfee gets a couple hope spots, does that super duper spot that they post when they like Pat McAfee can actually wrestle, y'all, which is him doing a backflip off the top rope. But I think he does that, and then Gunther like brutally abuses him and then chokes him out.
Yeah.
What Cade head mod in the self-made Discord?
Yeah, says Cade, man.
$4.99. Or hey Rob, I know you mentioned this on the stream last night, but I really agree with your sentiment that Ronda Rousey would fit great in this division. I did not. Whoa, I did not.
You're a Ronda shooter now, Rob?
No.
That's what you want, bro?
I did not say that. I don't know what stream Cave was watching, but I did not say any of that. But thank you, Cade, the head mod in the Self-Made Discord. Remember, join the Self-Made Discord. Link in our bios. Black Yakuza 94, $5. Knicks really said we ain't looking like bitches for a fifth time.
At some point, when you're just getting decocked, as a man, you have to say, stop cutting my dick off, please. Enough.
Hey, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. DB the Sage, $9.99. Weekly shout out to the ace, Io Sky. She's had an unreal stretch of consistency since WrestleMania 40. That Sonya match don't count. Shorty was bad post-injury. Hashtag EOFC.
So I'm going to take this time now to reveal something that I revealed a year ago, but, you know, we get new members of our audience, and sometimes people don't realize this. But Io Sky was wrestling with a fractured foot in the fall period of 2022. She had a foot injury, and she just powered through it, and she just let her foot heal naturally. But it's also why Io didn't look quite like how she should. And if you notice, there would be times where she'd do like a springboard drop kick and she would kind of slip a bit, or her footing, like just like her footwork was not the best. Io got in the form. It felt like 2023, like that match with Bianca in Backlash Puerto Rico really kind of got her going, and that set her towards the first time she won the Money in the Bank and then won the championship. But 2024, she took it to a new level. Once she turned babyface, it was like off and running. After that Utami Hayashi Shida match, where she walked in and basically said, "I'm gonna let y'all know that like y'all might think y'all are good, but like I'm still better than everybody here, and I'm gonna show it here." In I believe it was Sumo Hall when she faced Utami, and she like just looked like the best wrestler in the fucking world on that night. You know, that was a flex. That was her saying like, "Yo, I'm still like better than all of you. Like, I really still am." You know, and she came back to WWE with that confidence, and the rest is history. The rest is history. And WWE realized it, and Paul Levesque gave her the ball, and now she's the current ace of the company. Her match with Roxanne last night was awesome, and it's just nice to just sit back and watch her have a 10-minute match. It's just nice. Her work is so nice to look at. They were doing some lucha, Rob. And I actually think,
they're going insane, bro.
I thought Roxanne and Io were doing a better advertisement for Lucha Libre than fucking Phoenix and Santos did on Friday with that piece of shit that they had on Friday. That match started and Wade Barrett's like, "Folks, this will be a preview for AAA." Da, da, da. And then they just had like an ass match. And then here, these ladies are just doing ranas and
that match was so funny because the Phoenix is trying to do lucha and Santos is like, yo, I don't do none of this shit no more, bro. We're like,
I don't do none of this, bro. And Wade Barrett had a little bit like different kind of match here than I was expecting. Like that nigga base is like, what the fuck are they doing? What the fuck are they doing? So yeah, but no, the match is awesome. Roxanne Perez, bro, like she's so just fun to watch. Like she's such a steady wrestler. I'm a big Roxanne fan. Shout out to Roxanne. And Io Sky is just, like I said, she's one of the best wrestlers in the world, and definitely one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. Like she's just the ace of the promotion, bro. And she's over, and people like the emo, and she's a joyous watch. She's like, it's like how people would talk about Steph Curry during like the peak of the Warriors, where they're like Brian Windhorst would always go like, he plays with so much joy out there, and Io wrestles with so much joy. She's just so fucking happy. She knows how good she is. It's that type of vibe. But yeah, man, good shit. Roxanne Perez, 23 years old, 24 years old, whatever it is, like 23 or 24, and she's just so comfortable out there. You know, she's a natural. So really, really good stuff.
All right. KM Raider, $4.99. Seth FC, we on top after that match. Championship incoming. Hashtag architect.
I've never been the biggest Seth guy, Rob. I'm always like a situational Seth guy, where like sometimes he does stuff where I'm like, good job, Seth. You know, but like Seth's not like one of my guys. Now, with that said, he's had a good year.
He has had a good year. His performance in last night's match, especially with Jey Uso, knowing the caliber of wrestler that Jey Uso really is, which is like mid, like he's not good, not like hard, terrifying to watch wrestle. He's just like okay, But like that match last night was like, Ibu, I bit for like every near fall. If you go back, and I'll probably upload the VOD later. You go back and watch me watching that match last night. I didn't talk for the entire match because I was so nervous that Jay was gonna lose the world title so fast. So I didn't say a fucking word until like it got to the near falls, and then the near falls, I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, like I couldn't talk at all. That like they did a really good job last night at making you believe that Seth Rollins might walk out of Omaha with the World Heavyweight Championship. And I feel like the performance that he got out of Jey Uso, Seth always gets good performances out of Jey Uso. This is not a new thing that we just learned like yesterday. The match that they had at the end of 2023 was good. They had another match I think in 2024, if I'm not mistaken, Evil. That was really good. So that match was horrific.
I'll get into the Seth match in a bit, but like,
yeah.
Here's the thing. You know what was Seth's turnaround? Where I think it legitimately started, Rob, when Sami Zayn asked him to be his partner at War Games, and he said no. Why would I help Roman Reigns? And I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but why the fuck are you helping Roman Reigns, Sami? You look stupid, bro. That was a logical character making a logical decision and standing on business. And I remember saying at the time, Rob, because people were like, oh, I guess this is gonna lead to Seth changing his mind at the end. And I kept saying, if Seth changes his mind and goes back and joins them in War Games, he's a bad character. He's a bad character. And he didn't. And he stood on business. And I said, you know what? Holy shit. And then coming out of Survivor Series, if you remember, he was just like, you guys are a bunch of fucking freaks. All of you fucking losers. You guys all went back to just lick the shaft of Roman Reigns. You, Sami Zayn, this nigga CM Punk who doesn't stand on shit. You're just a fucking fuck you. Like, he was pointing the finger at everybody. And I was like, holy shit, Seth. And he carried that into 2025 and then did the stuff with Punk, which frankly, there's some Punk fans that don't like the Punk Seth stuff, but I've enjoyed most of it. Seth Rollins, generally speaking, was great in the Punk promos. And then when it turned into a 3-person program, Seth's stuff kind of slipped a little bit, but then he got back on track right before Mania. And so Seth, yeah, he just had a good year. He's had a good year. And I like that, like, Seth's not one of these weirdos that, like, when they turn heel, they're like, I need to work a methodical style now that I'm a bad guy. He just has his match,
He does all of his offense. He still does his suicide dive. He just does a bit more. I don't know if there's a way to do a suicide dive more aggressive, but he does it a bit more aggressive.
Free scoop, Rob. Richard Anno in the chat says Seth and Punk desperately need a big blow off match when the time comes. Richard Anno, they are going to have one within the coming months, and it will be on pay-per-view. So there you go.
So that's another thing. Should we get into that when we actually get into the Seth match with Jay last night?
Or? We're gonna talk about that match like in detail. But it's been a good year for.
Thank you for the super chat. I love Alex H, £5. I love Sammy, but I popped for Braun Spear on him. Give me believable heroes, not Jey Uso, and I'll stop being a smart.
I reached out to somebody about CM Punk returning last night.
Mm-hmm.
And what was expressed was basically that an acknowledgement that Punk does actually need a break. But right now, what WWE needs are strong, good guys to fight this Seth group, because otherwise they're just going to be cheered. So that's kind of the rationale and thinking behind the people that they're using to fight Seth Rollins. They feel, the individual I spoke to and WWE as a whole, they feel that we just need Punk right now because we need a strong babyface leading a group of babyfaces to fight these guys. Also, Paul Levesque feels that this is a very pivotal moment in the year. And in the sense that Hunter was like, yo, we need to cut this smart shit out right now. Right now, we need to stop this. If we allow this to be cut to snowball in the next few weeks, we're going to have a problem. Cody Rhodes, Rob, here's a scoop. Cody Rhodes originally wasn't going to take this hiatus. They're doing it straight up. I mean, there's probably other reasons that I'm not privy to, but one of the reasons is we're going to cut that shit off. We're going to cut that shit off right at the top, and we're going to make sure these niggas appreciate Cody Rhodes and miss him and cheer him when he comes back. And so the decision was made, yo, Cody, fuck May. Fuck May, Cody. He'll come back later in the month, and we'll circle back to it. Cody was going to do filler this month anyway, Rob. He was going to just do filler bullshit.
And that's why I really didn't want him to come back in May, because I knew what it was going to be.
I'll put it to y'all like this. Would y'all have been into Cody Rhodes just having bloodline tags? Like, I'm sure you guys don't give a fuck about that at this point in the game, right? Well, so cool. Exactly. So he would have just been fucking treading water anyway. He's gonna do some stuff with Drew McIntyre though. He's gonna work a program with Drew, but there wasn't really a need for Cody right now. So Hunter really is trying to cut the smart shit off. And like I said, I spoke to somebody about Punk, and again, the thinking was just we really need Punk right now. We really do, because they're gonna just cheer for the bad guys in any other situation.
And another thing, go ahead.
No, that's it. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, they also need Punk because Roman schedule's a lot lighter. I mean, like, obviously it's a lot lighter than it used to be, but now it's like really lighter than it used to be. It's based damn near the Brock schedule, and it's just like they need somebody to be here consistently to keep up with this feud, other than Jay and Rollins, and they need more top and Sami Zayn. They need more top guys than just those three to keep up with this Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman situation as well. Like,
yeah,
especially with Roman being involved in it and him not really being, but he's not around that much. So
I expect Roman Reigns to return at Money in the Bank. So that's my personal expectation. I expect Roman to be back at Money in the Bank. But nevertheless, the general group, your babe. The other thing was, and if you remember, I mentioned this before, Hunter does want to do stable warfare again. He wants to do good guys versus bad guys on the TVs. And if you noticed last night, the final scene of Raw was CM Punk, Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn standing tall as Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins were kind of like reeling on the ramp. We have three baby faces here. Roman Reigns will be a part of that unit when he's back. And what do you notice, Rob? Really think about this. I didn't realize it until it was pointed out to me because it was intentional. Punk, Sammy, Seth, Roman. They all worked together before, Rob. Do you remember when?
When?
Survivor Series. That's Team OG Bloodline. That's Team OG Bloodline. And that was done by design, and I didn't notice. That's Team OG Bloodline. So here's a spoiler alert, folks. Here's a spoiler alert. Jimmy Uso is going to be moved to the same brand as these guys. So that's just something you can look forward to. But go ahead.
I was thinking about this last night, and I brought it up. To Peach. I feel like with the direction that they're going in, I wouldn't want this at all because I think he's horrible and terrible and a terrible TV character. But I don't really see them adding Ethan Page to this group the way a lot of people think they are. And since he's been around Jey Uso so much with this storyline and the fact that he's going to be on Raw a lot more, because let's be honest, that nigga don't got shit going on anyway. Do you feel like they're going to add Logan Paul to this shit? Like, and I don't, as much as I don't want them to, a lot of people in WWE think like the world of this nigga, and like they'd be like, "Oh my god, he's the next superstar." Like, you've heard Paul Heyman and all the other niggas talk about.
I think they might put him in a tag on some point, like I mean, in the coming weeks, maybe. I don't think he's like a permanent guy affiliated with these guys with the heels. No, I do not think that. I don't think that. Do I believe that they are going to add people to this? I absolutely do. I absolutely.
And I'm not saying before I like me saying that I don't want them to add him to this group. Like I don't want
And
that to be a thing.
one thing I will point out, because
But
Sean got this too, and I'm not gonna say people misinterpreted it, but his wording was very specific for a reason. Sean Ross Sapp said that as of WrestleMania weekend, it was supposed to be a 2-person group. And it is true that when Paul Heyman made the call for Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins to be with him, the idea was 2 people. But that was also like 3 weeks ago. And I'm not saying that plans have changed. I'm just saying he very specifically intentionally worded it as of Mania, it was this. So there you go. I'll just leave it at that. I do believe there will be more people added. And again, there's a reason why CM Punk, Sami Zayn, and Jey Uso were the ones standing tall in your ending scene there. And again, we know Roman Reigns is also in opposition to these guys. They're not setting up all these opponents for them for it to just be 2v2. You know what I mean? But
a lot of people are bringing up Bronson Reed, but I don't think it would make sense for Bronson Reed to join Seth Rollins after he quite literally gave him internal injuries.
I don't know. Anthony Villanueva said, so Raw becomes Bloodline Wars. It will not be Bloodline Wars. It's not Bloodline Wars. It's not about the Bloodline or Bloodline centric at all.
Yeah, you're starting to see them kind of phase out the Bloodline story finally.
Oh,
Hunter thinks
it's finished. He thinks it's
yeah,
finished.
Like it was a nice 5 years, y'all. It was a nice 5 years, but
Yeah,
that
the idea
finally
behind
over.
the Seth Bronson thing is to create a new central pillar of the show that they can build the show around. Because I said this before, they found the TV hard to write at points last year without that. Kale said, I think they may be doing some faction warfare with the women too. Rio, Io, Lyra, Bailey, Babyface side, Becky, Roxanne, Julia. Well, what I'll tell you about this, Kale, is I don't know the exact destination. But when I asked about this, they said that they just told me that the Evolution 2 build has already started. That's what they said to me. That Evolution 2's build has already began. And I promise, folks, this is not me being coy. This is not me being coy. I think we get a War Games match this year in the springtime. Not me being coy. Not me being whatever. It's not based on anything I was told. I think they do one organically in the middle of the year.
I agree with this, by the way. Bring back the Survivor Series traditional tags.
I think they will.
Theo, $2. Who's in Wrestler of the Year convo so far into the year? I have no idea. I have no
I don't know.
picked out Wrestler of the Year yet. Really, I don't know.
I have no idea.
Like I've kind of just been watching
My favorite,
from a fan standpoint for the last 2 months.
Yeah, my. I mean, I know when I've been watching, the people that move me the most, personally, or who I think deserve it, would be like Hiroki Goto, Tony Storm, Io Sky. A lot of people have mentioned Takeshita, and I just feel like I'll get into him more on a different day. But Takeshita's obviously a tremendous wrestler, and I guess if I look at the list, he probably has compiled a lot of really good matches, but they don't like have that much of an impact on me. Kenny Omega's having a really nice start to the year. Again, like people are saying Osprey. I'd have to like read it because like when I think of who's defining this year, like Osprey and Takeshita aren't jumping out at me. Kyle Fletcher might be a candidate. He's fucking incredible.
Yo, he's been godly this year, bro. He's been
When I think
godly.
of people defining this year, like, and I'm going narrative based, not like on the stats. Like I don't have the fucking analytics in front of me. I don't have Cage Match in front of me. But like when I think about whose year this has been, bro, like I think like again, this is just vibes based, bro. This is vibes based. I think like Hiroki Goto, Tony Storm, Io, Mercedes to a degree, I think also. Fletcher. I'm probably forgetting people, but again, it's like they're like, look, people are naming people that, like, I bet you if I look at the cage match, like, and you count, like, damn, everybody had like 10 4-star matches or whatever the fuck. But yeah, I don't know. Wrestler of the year to me is about like who defines the year and who really like made this their year. And I don't think it's super clear yet who that one individual person is. I like Goto though. I really do like Goto in a lot of this. I'll tell you what. Also, every time I watch David Finlay, he tears it up. So we'll see. We'll see. We gotta let the dust settle. And I don't think the dust is settled at all on that.
DB the Sage 4.99. How hilarious would it have been if Jay lost the belt this fast on a random Raw? I might add. Yo, that's what it creaked into my head when we got into this match. I was like I was scared they were gonna change the belt. I was like, they're not gonna do this in Omaha, fucking Nebraska. Like,
so here's the deal on this, Rob. Paul Heyman was in the back going, "How do we play on people's doubt on Jey Uso tonight? How do we create something that is unpredictable?" He basically said to them, "We all know that Seth Rollins is going to win the World Heavyweight Championship." He's talking about I'm talking about internally. We all know that the fans know this. Why don't we make them guess and go, are they going to do it fucking tonight? Are we going to make them do it tonight? And Paul's whole thing was just, how do we construct a match that makes people believe in the title change? And part of it was like, we stagger the runouts, we set up the near falls in a certain way, and then we make the fans think that Sami Zayn is the last run out. And once Sami Zayn is out and he got speared by Braun, and then Braun spears Jay, as the fans doing the math on the runouts, it's okay, that's the end of the runouts. Seth Rollins won the fucking belt. Holy shit. Until no, triple swerve, CM Punk is back early. He's not taking his hiatus yet. And that was Paul's creative touch on this show. It was, how do we create show-long intrigue? How do we throw them completely for a loop? How do we throw them off? How do we keep them guessing? How do we create an unpredictable environment for the main event? How do we raise the drama and the stakes? How do we set up more tags for the next 6-7 weeks of TV? And how do we lay out a match to where you have no clue who's going to win until the very end? And that was what he focused and prioritized and successfully achieved. I gotta admit, he achieved it. And like I said, he did so while also creating a bunch of tags for the next few weeks. And for all you could say about Paul Heyman, and there's a lot of things you could say about this fucking guy. He's not a really particularly good guy, but he does still have his fastball creatively. And I also think, Rob, to this day, he is way more dynamic than Paul Levesque. Triple H's approach is logical and cookie cutter. It's logical and cookie cutter. Guys cut promos on each other. Guys do vignettes and video packages. Guys have matches. Paul Heyman, it's like he's always thinking about, like, how do I set up this guy and elevate this guy and then also make you guess about this and then set up this match and then create this type of situation and then, like, do a twist on a twist on a twist. Like, that's his thing. And to this day, he can still pull it off. I wish you would just book the whole show. But I'll tell you this now, guys. He doesn't want to book the whole show for whatever reason. He just doesn't want to do it. He had chances to just be the new SmackDown head writer and didn't want to be one. But to this day, he is much better than Triple H at just dynamic television. And last night, everything involving him, from the opening segment where he cut his promo on Jey Uso to the end of the show, he was just dynamic television. Opening the show, Rob, he cut that promo on Jey, where he basically defended why he turned on Roman Reigns and said, why don't you give me a fucking heads up about, because Jey did the whole thing of, like, I should have warned my family about you, man. I always knew about you. And Heyman was like, you should have warned me about fucking Roman Reigns. And he basically pointed out, like, Roman, I pulled the big dog out of the island of irrelevancy and made him relevant. I remodeled the tribal chief. I made him a champion. It was me that held him for 5 years and and the family. And I get repaid by getting fucking he said Roman lost to Cody Rhodes and he bailed on me and then let me get attacked at Madison Square Garden. And when he came back, it wasn't for revenge on me. It was to get the goddamn Moolah Fala back. And he was like, I'm the bad guy, screw you. And he went off about that whole shit. And he did all that. But then the twist on that was he turns it to Jey in the focus. And he was just kind of like, what I loved, Rob, do you remember this part where he goes, "You have the championship. The championship is power. It's control." And he basically like, "You don't know what to do with all that." And I love that because that's been a sub narrative of the TV in 2025, that the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and the other championship, it's control, it's power, it's influence, and eventually it gets heavier and heavier and it weighs on you. And the thing that I've been complaining about and asking for them to make more clear, they're starting to be slightly more overt with, and that's the fact that Paul Heyman is like the secret power broker in WWE.
Yes. Yes,
And
they've been treating him like that since Brock was still around. Like it's really just been when Brock first came back. They did a really good job of portraying that when they were doing the Brock versus Roman feud, and Brock was like, and they were when during the first contract signing when he was like, nigga, when Brock he was like, yo, you gonna sign you just signed the contract, you're not gonna look at it. He's like, nigga, I already seen the contract, and like when they were doing the Paul Heyman and Roman shit, when he got him the WWE title match at the Royal Rumble when he wasn't even supposed to, like they've done a really he got him into the day one match when Roman Reigns wasn't there. Like they've done a really good job at like portraying Paul Heyman as, you have Paul Heyman, you immediately have the power to do whatever. They did at the beginning, they did a really good job with that when they were like, yo, I'm not wrestling this week, but Paul Heyman can get you a match with this person, and he can get you a match with that person. So
right, and what I'm getting at is they didn't make that as overt in the Mania build, where I feel like that the build needed that. But now coming out of Mania, they're really making it clear. Like Paul Heyman just like opens like secret doors in the company, and he targeted Jey Uso and basically said, "You don't need that belt. We need that belt," and said, "You can sign your own death certificate. You name the time and the place Seth Rollins is going to face you." And I'll tell you this, folks. Even though it's set up to the one night story, that was low key one of those situations where they're telling you the end of the book at the beginning of the book. If you want, listen, I'll put it to you this way. If you don't want to be spoiled, close your ears for the next 10 seconds. I'm giving you 5 seconds to then close your ears for 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Seth Rollins is going to beat Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. You can unclose your ears now, folks. They told you the ending of the story, but they know that it's not about the destination, which we all know where it's heading to. It's about how they get there and keeping you guessing and creating different story avenues on the way there. I like that Jey Uso, being a babyface, got right in his face. Was like, nigga, I'll fight him fucking tonight. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. 2 words. I mean, 4 letters, 1 word. And then the yeet. So that was a strong opening segment to set up a main event. And that was Heyman's contributions to tonight's TV.
alrighty. Dame 199. Ibu got anything on the Io Mayu match happening?
Yes. All right. Because you sent the super chat, I'll give you something, but all right, I'll put it to you this way, guys. After this podcast, I'm going to be in Self-Made, and I'll give everybody details on this. But what I'll tell Dame is the match will happen. There's already a deal in place for the match to happen. I'll give you guys more in Self-Made in terms of where and when, in terms of like what I know about where and when. But there is a deal in place for the match to happen.
Ibu Mania 14, 499. So it looks like the WWE draft is taking place after around Battleground NXT. Who are some names you could see being called up, plus Mariah at SummerSlam?
Bro, I have no clue how they roll out Mariah May. I'd imagine she's going to NXT. I don't know what bro, she's hurt. When people are like coming to another company, but their deal hasn't even expired yet, it's rare for like a guy like me to get a hold of what the creative plans are going to be. because companies try to keep that on under the vest because they technically have to pretend that they're not even, doing that. You know what I mean? Like they have to pretend that they're not tampering, so to speak. I knew of a couple ones. Like I knew what the Hurt Syndicate were doing before Bobby Lashley even left WWE. I knew about that one, but generally speaking, look, Mariah May is probably going to WWE, right? And she informed AEW that she's not re-signing. But in terms of me like knowing what the fuck she's gonna do and what show she's popping up in, I do not know. I do not know. Draft wise, yeah, there will be a draft. I think it's happening a little bit after Battleground. I remember getting told that they needed to settle the dust at NXT over the next month. So I think NXT was kind of getting their books in order. And speaking to that, as a bit of a preview, that's part of why some of the cuts happen, but also that's also why they're breaking up some groups to kind of like restructure like just the card of NXT. And tonight's show, Rob, there's going to be 3 or 4 WWID/Evolve wrestlers on the show. Sean Legacy will be on tonight's show, as will Swipe Right. And
we gotta change that theme. No, we gotta change that theme. No, that's bullshit.
No clue what the fuck their theme is, but I'll tell you this: that's not a coincidence. That's not a one-off. I said this to you guys before. After WrestleMania, expect a lot of NXT to be filled by the WWID/Evolve people. You guys want a headline? Triple H doesn't think much of most of the NXT, the existing NXT men's roster. Part of why ID is happening was to increase the talent level and competency of NXT in the sense that they wanted guys who they could put in their system, but already like had a potential and already kind of at a baseline level could go to a certain degree, like wrestling wise. And they liked the idea of these people have already traveled around and done independence, and we just got to teach them about WWE, like hard cam and promo style and things like that. And we can just kind of touch them up. They wanted it to be a finishing school, WWE, for some of these guys. And then you will have more guys who are more ready made, right? And so over the course of the year, expect a lot more of the ID people all over NXT. And it's also WWE's benefit because they can pay them a lot less. But the bottom line is they're probably going to call up Ethan. Not probably. Ethan Page is going to get called up. He's going to get called up. A couple other guys are going to get called up. And in their wake will be a lot of these ID people having to pick up the slack. And that begins tonight. So Sean Legacy debuts. Swipe Right will be on NXT. And we'll see where that goes from there. But, yeah.
Corey David, $5. Even remember when everyone is made doubted the Knicks Pepper Ridge Farm remembers Robin AO, Lakers gone, Clippers gone, Chris O Clippers gone. Nigga, it's one game, nigga. Like nigga. Y'all like what the fuck? I doubted. Yeah, I doubted a team that had a shitty record against teams over 500 all year. I doubted a team that was getting their ass beat by 20 to 30 all fucking season by the Celtics. Like what? Of course I would doubt them niggas. What?
Baydoun said Ibu gonna watch NXT in full tonight for the first time since 2017 because of Sean Legacy. What do I look like, brother? And you know what, Rob? Right now, I'm gonna go on NXT's Twitter page and see what the card is. Talking about, I'm gonna watch NXT.
I don't even know what the NXT card is.
All right,
Pelicans fan talking about.
Let's see what's going on here. All right. 25-man battle royal for number 1 contender for the NXT Championship at Battleground, and I'm gonna get the graphic in a second because the tweet I see doesn't have a graphic. Joe Hendry, Hank and Tank versus Dark State. We're good. What else we got here? No other graphics I'm seeing. Scrolling. Julia versus Jordan Grace. I will watch that. I will watch that match. Kalani Jordan versus Zaria. Is this okay? Kalani's. I might watch that. What else we got here? So we got a battle royal. We got Kalani Zaria. We got that Dark State tag that I will not watch. We have Julia and Jordan. I'll watch that. Okay. Anything else? Looks like that's about it. So
Bro, every time I'm sitting here like, man, NXT, man. You know, we might be getting there again. They're just like, actually, Joe Hendry, say his name and he appears. Actually, Gala.
I
Well, thank God Gala's gone. We don't have to deal with that no more. But
I don't want to like I don't want to be that guy, but I just I don't get in 2025 still like giggling for the Joe Hendry stick. I don't understand it.
oh, bro, people don't understand. Like they think I shit on Joe Hendry to shit on. I watch TNA. He barely gets reactions in the buildings that TNA get. Not barely, but it's not the
Just
same.
his base has seen it already. Like his base,
Yeah, like
yeah.
it's not the same as it used to be, bro. The whole crowd used to go, yeah, like it was when he got the match against Ethan Page last year. It's not like that anymore, bro. It's not. It's not. It's just not. I'm tired of it. I am tired of it, bro. We watching hoops and puck. Oh God, bro. We up Leafs up one on the Panthers. Uh, but holy shit, bro. I can't do it. I can't do it, bro. And then he sucks in the ring too. It's like, bro, please stop, leave me alone. Hush 199. Yo, that thunder is getting louder and louder. Hush 199. Io Sky equals Jalen Brunson. Playoff riser reliable. Hello?
I'm sorry. Were you talking to me, Rob? I'm sorry. What happened?
I read a super chat. Hush 199. Io Sky equals Jalen Brunson. Playoff riser reliable.
Yeah, I agree. You know what I was just watching, Rob? I went to the NXT Twitter page and there was a clip. Is it time for Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights to get some singles gold? And I'm watching this segment. And like the idea of it's so silly. Like Miles Bourne is like, hey man, I'm gonna go for the. He said some shit, and Tavion Heights was like, Charlie Dempsey's still mad at you, right? And he's like, why? And he's like, for teaming outside the group and teaming with Javon last week. And he's like, hey man, it's time for me to go for some singles gold, man. I've done everything Charlie asked of me. And then Tavion's like, I don't know, man. Like, and basically the whole thing is Tavion is afraid to pursue singles gold because he's afraid of what Charlie Dempsey's going to say. But this is so dumb. Like, why are these niggas beholden to some other nigga about chasing gold? What the fuck?
Yo, why can't Charlie Dempsey go for the NXT title? Why can't Tavion Heights go for the
he
North
their
American
daddy?
title? Right, like why can't it be one nigga goes for the NXT title, one goes for the North American title, one goes for the Heritage Cup or whatever
Bro,
other belt they got? Like why does it? Why are you
Rob,
niggas afraid?
Rob, the thing that they're referencing is so funny because I watched that NXT episode. Bro, motherfucking Miles was on TV and the other niggas weren't there, and so he needed backup, and Javon backed him up. Why would Charlie Dempsey be upset at that? That's stupid as fuck. Also, like Charlie's not their senpai. Why the fuck is he the boss of like them? I don't know. No, I'm thinking way too much about this stupid show. It's just so dumb to me. Can you push Tavion Heights? Can they give him a fucking opportunity at a singles belt, please? Can they
Yo,
push?
can you push him towards a match with Ricky Starks? I'd love to see them to have a match. Like
Fuck.
it's just
Fuck
fuck,
me.
bro. Holy. DB the Sage 499. The Joshi side of social media is saying Io can't be in best in the world conversations because she has to hold back in the Fed. Yeah, I'm so sure the people that watch Tokyo Joshi Pro and Marigold on a regular basis have opinions on best in the world conversations. Anyway,
Clayton Bolt 199. Will there be a who's the third man type rollout? I guess we have to stay tuned. I do think Paul Heyman talked about a multi-part plan, and he said how like the first step in the plan was getting Seth Rollins, getting Braun Breaker. Next step is getting the belt. I do think at some point he's going to go. Perhaps to acquire the power, I have to strengthen the forces. I feel like he's going to say some shit like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Sienna, €5. If Io keeps pace at this for the rest of the year, would this be one of, or maybe even the best bell to bell for a year for a wrestler in WWE ever? Excuse me.
I think we should completely pump the brakes on that. Io is in
No.
great. She's in great form, but she's not out there having fucking 4 1/4 matches and shit. She's in great form, And as somebody that has been watching WWE for a long time, like, bro, Kurt Angle, brother, like 2002, like, you know what, Rob, right
What's
now,
up?
I'm gonna pull out Kurt Angle's 2002 match guide. All right.
Oh my God.
Like we do need to pump the brakes. I love Io Sky. She's in incredible form. But like, guys, please. All right, ready? Here we go. Kurt Angle match guide. Let's go to like page 4. What year were we in? 03. Let's go to page 5. All right. Nope, that's a little far. All right, back to page 4. You ready for this, Rob?
Let's go. Talk about it.
All right, let's start at, because Kurt Angle's year really picks up mid-year. All right. Here we go, Rob. This was, I want to say, Backlash 02. Kurt Angle versus Edge, 4.25. All right. Judgment Day 02. Kurt Angle versus Edge, hair versus hair, 4.5. This was an episode of SmackDown. Kurt Angle versus Edge, steel cage, 4.25. Are we keeping count, folks? Are we keeping count?
Keep going.
All right. Kurt Angle versus Undertaker versus The Rock, Vengeance 02, 4.5. Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio at SummerSlam 02. This is like the greatest WWE pay-per-view opener I've ever seen. 3.75. And if you've seen that match, Dave might be underrating it. On TV, right afterwards, Kurt Angle, Benoit, and Undertaker. Excellent match. Excellent match. Kurt Angle has a rematch with Rey Mysterio on SmackDown in September. That's fucking just as good as SummerSlam. Chris Benoit versus Kurt Angle at Unforgiven 02. 4.5 stars. The following TV, Chris Benoit versus Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio, 4 stars. A week later, Edge versus Kurt Angle, 4.25. 2 weeks after that, Chavo and Eddie versus Benoit and Angle, 4 stars. Incredible match. And then after that, Rob, 3 days later at No Mercy, Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle versus Edge and Rey Mysterio, 4.75. That is your Wrestling Observer Newsletter match of the year for 2002. And then they rematched it on TV, and it was also an incredible match. He has a match with Eddie Guerrero on TV, like what was this? Was this pay-per-view? Let's see here. This was SmackDown. 3.5 with Eddie on TV. And then 2 out of 3 falls, Benoit and Angle versus Edge and Rey Mysterio. This is like a week later, 4 stars. Rematch with Benoit on TV in December. Excellent match. This is just every fucking week, Rob. Every fucking week. He fucking closes his year out with a 3.75 with Chavo and Eddie in a tag. Oh, no, we have another one, Rob. Look at this. December 5th on SmackDown. Chris Benoit versus Eddie versus Edge versus Angle. Fatal 4-way elimination match. 4.5 stars.
Bro, y'all keep hold on. Y'all keep talking about no 5s. Bro, Dave wasn't giving anybody 5s in 2002, 2003, bro. Nobody was getting 5s. He hated wrestling.
I hope my point is, and on that same roster, Benoit also was just having like 4-star matches every fucking week.
I'm pretty sure if you told Dave to go back and watch some of those matches, especially like if you told Dave right now that loves wrestling in 2025 to go back and watch Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 21, I'm pretty sure he would not give that 4.75. I'm pretty sure he would give the like 5.5.
My point is, like, Io is in incredible form, and like she works, like, she's awesome to watch, right? But like she's not having that type of output on these TV shows. She's having like good matches on the shows, and I value them. They help Raw immensely. But like this nigga was coming on TV and having 4.5s on TV. I watched it in real time and went back and watched it, and it blew me. Rob, when I rewatched these TVs in the pandemic, I was like, Nick, this is like the best in-ring TV in WWE history. Like, what the shit that he was doing on TV, brother, he's having matches on TV that like WWE doesn't do on pay-per-view. Like, bro, I'm telling you, Kurt Angle would have casually have these matches on SmackDown. That would be better than any WWE pay-per-view match this year. Like, just easily, casually. And that's just his 02. That's just his 02. I could go to like 05 if I wanted to. And I could go to some other wrestlers too if I wanted to. I also think 2023 Gunther is is better. But this is not to put down Io, who was like one of my favorite wrestlers. Like I want to make it very clear. It's not to it's just to say like let's pump the brakes. Let's just pump the brakes. But there you go. Baydun said a day 4 and 02 is a day 7 and 2025. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Ryan Ciccini 279. Becky after Raw interview rocked. What a beast. I didn't listen to it actually.
I read the quotes. Rob, I'm gonna read you some of the quotes because they're very.
I seen clips. I seen mad clips.
Yeah, let me see if I could. Let me see if Monty aggregated anything because the quotes were very funny. Becky Lynch gets this business in terms of working. All right. Let's see here. Oh shit, we have news. Here we go. The Righteous, Dutch, and Vincent requested a release from their contracts and were granted a release last week. It is believed that their deals ran until later this year. The split was amicable, and one source noted it was possible they could pop up in AEW ROH down the line, just not as contracted talents. So their deals were going to run out, and they just said, "Tony, can we leave?" And Tony said, "Go for it." It is interesting and good that Tony just lets people leave now.
Breaking Patrick McCall and Jordan Bell have requested their release from the Golden State Warriors. Like what the fuck? What the fuck? Like I don't. My fault, yo. Continue.
What the hell, Rob? I mean, it's not that deep. It's just niggas want it out. I don't even hate the Righteous or whatever. I don't really care for Vincent. I actually think Dutch is pretty good. I actually like Dutch. He wasn't there that one bloody ROH Righteous match that was like, kind of sick. Like what was the match? Like someone's gonna remember this. There was a match with the Righteous that like was in ROH that was really really sick. Anyways, all right.
Dutch is the bigger guy. Vincent is the nigga with the white dude with the dreads.
Yes. I like Dutch because he does Big Boss Man cosplay. I don't really care for Vincent at all. All right. Here's one of the Becky quotes. She said, "Look at the men. Who have you got that's young and hot over there? No, it's a bunch of old lads, and nobody says nothing. No one's saying move over CM Punk, move over Seth Rollins. Nobody's saying that, but they'll say that to me." Another one. Monty didn't aggregate anything else. What the fuck, Monty? The point is, she's making a lot of.
I seen another quote where she was like, she's shitting on Bayley, and she was like, she's probably paying her best friend $100 to talk to her. Talking to making fun of the Monet $100 a month thing.
I can't click this video, but Wrestle Talk posted a video that's implying that the Righteous are going to pair with Karrion Kross, which is very funny. Come on.
Yo, we gotta let this Karrion Kross thing go. We gotta let it go.
Let me see what's going on here.
We gotta let it go, bro.
Yeah. Wait, what's? Oh, so Rob, in the video, Kross is listening to their theme song and he's snapping his fingers.
Yo, nigga, you did not have to be involved with everything, bro. You don't have to be involved with everything. Stop. Leave us alone.
That nigga said
enough.
That nigga said more lore opportunities. Let's go.
And I'm not like shitting on Dutch. I like Dutch because, like you said, he does. Bro, it's gonna end up the same way with the Authors of Pain situation. They're gonna come in. They're gonna have like 2 okay matches, and then they're gonna suck for the rest of the tenure. And then Triple H is gonna look at them and be like, "Why are they on the books?" And then they're gonna get cut and released. Like, there's no point.
Hopefully, they get a year of pay out of it.
Yeah, like at least they get a paycheck out of it. But fucking Christ, leave it alone, please.
Hey man, shout to them niggas, man.
Yeah, remember when they were teasing when they were like, "Yo, we're running with Elias now," and we running with Elias. Everybody was like, "Oh shit, they're going to ROH," and AEW had to be like, "No, Elias is not coming to ROH."
Bro, I just what was I gonna say? I just
you know what they might do? They might run that shit in TNA. You never know. They might just run that in TNA.
Who knows? Who knows?
I would. Yeah, now a Mance Warner Dutch death match does intrigue me.
Mance Warner's good.
Oh, never mind. They can't. Never mind. We're not gonna get that anymore because they can't blade in TNA. So.
Oh yeah, you can't bleed in TNA.
So never mind. Never mind. Okay. Can't watch Chi-Town Spurs $5. Can't watch Paul Heyman or Braun without suddenly getting a craving for rotisserie chicken. These tan jobs are a shade away from getting them canceled.
Paul Heyman is so fucking orange.
Why? Yo, we have seen you for like 10 years, not pale, but just like normal, normal kind of tan. You know what I mean?
Do you know why? Do you know why they do you know why what's it called? Heyman's orange now? It's because how do I put this? He just like looks really old now without his makeup on TV, so they put that on him.
Okay. Oh, so he's not the one getting tan. It's Braun. Okay. Chi-Town Spurs, another 5. The Brunson hate is so exaggerated. Drawing fouls is a skill. Hacking Mitchell Robinson in the second quarter as a 1 seed is a war crime. Fuck Boston. Oh, maybe get better at free throws. I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like,
I don't understand the Brunson hate at all. I think he's an awesome player, and he plays generally pretty ethically.
Maybe you wouldn't get hacked if you were just good at free throws. Jaw Flakes 199. In my opinion, this has been the best playoff since 2021. Yeah, bro. Like 2023 was an interesting run just because the Lakers, for me, just because LeBron and the Lakers were going on that run. But like other than that, like the finals were really fucking boring. The Jimmy Butler stuff was exciting because it was just like, why is Jimmy Butler godly in the playoffs all of a sudden? But other than that, like last year was just like mad boring. Like nothing interesting was happening at besides like the only interesting thing for me last year was Ant's rise in the playoffs, and that's pretty much it. But like the Pacers were facing Chris Middleton and Patrick Beverly with no Giannis and Dame, and then the Knicks were like hobbling around all playoffs and shit. It was just like, but this year it's been a really good playoffs this year.
We have
really good.
Rob, we have a CM Punk quote on the WWE roster. He said,
up?
The women are carrying the show a lot of times. I think Rhea Ripley's a superstar. Liv Morgan had an MVP year in 2024. I like watching Gunther compete. I hate Dominic. That's neither here nor there. Guys I want to work with, Jacob Fatu, got a little taste of that at War Games. But one-on-one stuff is my bread and butter. There's more pressure that way. Finn Balor is fantastic. I selfishly want to lock back up with Rey Mysterio, teach him a lesson for having such a brat kid. So there you go.
Yo. You know what I've been thinking about, Ibu? What? And I'm not like these delusional Finn Balor stands, but like, could you just imagine Finn Balor has been coasting, and if they, let's say hypothetically, they do this face turn where they kick him out of Judgment Day. Like, what if he just turns face and then just like, actually, guys, I've been good this whole time. I was just chilling. Like, I'm not saying he's going to. I have the same belief as like you and a lot of other people do about 2025 Finn Balor. It's 2025, but just like, could you imagine he's just like, actually, guys, I've just been joking around. I'm still good, actually.
I think it's over, Rob.
I think it's over, but like, hypothetical. It's just hypothetical. It's hypothetical. Speckles 199. Not too much on Big Costas. No. I like, he's fun, but he is 65 years old, bro. You can't, if WWE is looking to take Lucha Libre into the future of Lucha Libre, then you can't have 65-year-old Negro Casas main eventing every show, bro. like you have to have some new people, new blood main eventing the shows. And Latin Lover is not old at all. He just like doesn't want to wrestle because his family is like, you're gonna die if you wrestle. So Hush 499. What's up with this huge Lucha? Oh, we already read this. I read this when we were talking about the thing earlier. Hush 199. What realistic names do you think make the jump? So I think he's talking about CMLL to AAA. And I think you already addressed this, right?
Which one? What realistic names make? That's a question for Lucha Blog, not me. Because he more better knows the pay structure for certain guys and would know which guys are just like looking to do that. I can pull up the roster and guess, but I'd literally just be guessing. I literally would be guessing. It would not be informed at all. But the general gist is, all right, I got the roster up. Angel De Oro is a veteran at this point. I don't think he gets. I mean, again, I don't know how much these guys are making. I'll put it to you this way: any mid-carder is susceptible to switching. Angel De Oro could switch if they wanted to. I don't know if Atlantis Jr. gets paid based on just the name of his father. I don't know that. I really don't. I'm looking at some of these other names. Blue Panther is not going to leave. Looking at some other names here.
He wouldn't leave. And what's the point in getting? I mean, not what's the point in getting him, but like
Viano 3's kids might. I could see them jumping.
Definitely,
Esfinge, Euphoria, I could see guys like that jumping. Futuro, I could see him jumping. Young talent with a lot of potential.
With the way WWE fucked over Mystico the first time, I don't see them getting him back. I could see them getting the other Mystico they had back.
Mystico's not leaving just purely because he's the highest paid guy in CMLL, and WWE's not going to match
that too.
Now
what we need to do, Big Cinta de Oro.
I'm looking here.
Let's make magic, brother. Let's make magic.
Neon. Rocky Merrill's not going to leave. Star Jr. He would definitely dip. Templario, that's a tricky one. I can see WWE going for him. I don't know if he actually. I don't know. Volador Jr. I don't think he'll leave. But that's the thing. This isn't super informed because I don't know what these guys make. I know that the main eventers are likely the highest paid guys, but most people in CMLL don't make that much money, Rob. So you can infer that the mid carders aren't the big buck guys, and that the main eventers are the ones that make the real money in CMLL. And by virtue of that, those people are the ones that are susceptible to leave. Is the general outline of that.
Like I said earlier, we will have Fuego. And Uni, and we're gonna bring Unico back, y'all. Trust. $4.99. No Mascara Dorado, please. No, he's not. I don't see him leaving, bro. I don't see him leaving. DB the Sage, $4.99. Triple H gonna do one of the incoming luchadors. So nasty. Do not trust the big nose. Chi-Town Spurs, $5. CMLL has more depth than any company in the world. The Torneo de Escuela a couple months ago blew my mind, and most of those guys can't get on TV.
That's what I'm saying. Like they create so many in-house stars that WWE is just going to sign a bunch of people, and CMLL, they're just going to be like, okay, and they're going to just move a bunch of the underneath dudes that kind of like get the tornado matches or those like early matches on the card that have the time limit. They're just going to move those lightning matches or whatever they're called. They're just going to move those guys up the card. And
Sean King said both Mascara and Soberano are anti-WWE.
I'm sure they are. I've actually seen the Soberano quotes. I also don't take them seriously.
I could see them trying to sign a lot of the Tuesday show undercard guys too.
That's what I'm saying. Listen,
so
AAA in general, they just don't have talent on their roster.
They don't, and the young niggas they have that are actually talented, they're like, yo, TNA, you want them?
Yes, and so my point is, they're gonna, even if they have to bargain bin take from CMLL, they'll do that and go from there.
Go Birds XTL $4.99. Sheamus and JDM. Oh, JD McDonough being back really helps Raw's undercard. Yes.
Yeah.
I think I honestly, I would take Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, and I would move them over to SmackDown. SmackDown needs a boost of something for when they go back to 2 hours.
Nah, bro. I'd keep them on Raw and just use them, bro.
Raw's tag division is
ass.
Raw's tag division sucks. That's the thing about SmackDown. SmackDown's the bright spot about SmackDown is their tag division,
right?
Whereas Raw is just like, who boy.
Rob. I'd be tempted to unify the belts again, the tag belts.
I mean,
I'd be tempted, bro.
not necessarily. I wouldn't, but you have to think about the ego side of it, because that is the whole reason why we had to have 2 world titles again in the first place. Because like some tag teams are gonna feel like, well, we're the best tag team in the world, but we're not tag team champions, and yada yada yada, and so on and so forth.
Nigga, so
I don't know, bro. Hey, this nigga, it's so until niggas want to leave. It's so until the Street Profits are like, yo, why are the War Raiders tag team champions for 9 months and we're not doing anything?
no, because here's the thing, Rob. With the unified tag belts, I would absolutely have the Profits be my touring unified champions that go on both shows. They would be the guys I choose for that role.
Nah.
And these other niggas could cry.
There's a way to have them separate and have 2 decent tag divisions. WWE are smart at doing it. Ryan Zacchini, 279. Gunther is one of my favorite promos, by the way. Yes, this is yes. We touched
No,
on this
I totally
earlier.
buy that. That's why what I was saying wasn't directed at you, Ryan. It's just a lot of people do this. Every time Gunther cuts a promo, like, oh my god, what? Look at this Gunther promo. He can talk.
This too, niggas like, and not niggas that we don't like. They won't cut tag teams that we don't fuck with or we don't care about. They're gonna cut tag teams that we actually give a fuck about, too. With that, in that aspect, so because they're not smart at cutting either. Hush 499. Fightful said there's no third member planned. Have you heard the same? I don't know. Doesn't make sense after last night. Just please no Logan Paul. I'm telling you, bro, it might end up just being Logan. It might. It might. I like I said, I know nothing, but like the way everybody in that company, when they're interviewed about Logan Paul, talks about Logan Paul, it might be Logan Paul. It might. It might end up being, and he don't got shit else going on anyway outside of WWE. He don't got boxing fights going on anymore. He don't really got events like that and shit going on anymore and outside of WWE. So it might. That's why you see him around more often than you used to. So it might just end up being him.
Nah, bro.
And he
That's
sucks
acceptable,
at
bro.
talking. It's
Rob,
unacceptable, but Ibu, you have
Rob,
done.
Rob,
We think it's
Rob,
unacceptable.
don't enable this, Rob. We're not even going to consider this, bro.
I'm not
It's not
enabling
happening.
it.
It's not happening.
Okay.
They're not putting Logan Paul long term in Paul Heyman's stable with Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. That's just like not happening. It shouldn't
Hey,
even be
man.
entertained.
I'm not saying it should happen, but you know how WWE do. They do the wrong thing most of the
It's
time. So,
bro, Paul's not. Paul's too protective. They may tag, but like that's not like a long term thing that'll be like happening. That will not be a long term alliance.
yo, we and when yeah, it's gonna happen. We gonna come on this bitch like fuck.
It's not, bro. It's just not like I'm not talking about a TV tag. That's just not going to be a long term parent grouping, bro.
DB the Sage 999. Those takes become more common during the PG era. WWE went away from main eventers tapping for so long that people who grew up in the Cena era rarely saw clean tap outs that didn't involve injury. Well, that's not true. There were tap outs. There. Oh, okay. I was about to say, but just not really in the main event scene. And the main eventers that you did see tapping out is they were just like main eventers for 1 month. But yeah, no. A
In
lot of
general,
niggas don't
Rob.
really tap.
In general, Rob, a lot of really stupid people on wrestling Twitter have like their view of wrestling is shaped by 2010's WWE, and then you wonder why
Yeah.
their IQ level of wrestling Twitter is very low.
It's why when you see people bleeding, they're just like, huh, do we have to do this?
Like,
Bleeding?
you got to. They were raised on some of the worst wrestling of all time, and think that that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Luckily I had TNA and other things to save me from that. So Jay Stone, 499. One time shout out for Big Val. I've been a treat to watch her come into her own on the mic. We team her fucking theme song, the when they do the bird noise over here. Yeah, no. Fucking Lyra Valkyrie has been really good on the microphone, bro. And she wasn't that good in NXT, but she's been coming into her own on the main roster.
I
Evil.
was a big fan of that segment.
I wasn't.
The actual promo wasn't as good as last week, but what I liked about it was it felt like WWE was putting out a test for her. Because for better or for worse, WWE will sometimes need you to be the witty babyface that stands up for themselves in a verbal segment. And even though that's not a natural role for Lyra, she showed that she could pull that off. I wanted to kind of recap the segment with with the actual dialogue, but I don't have it in front of me. But the general gist is Lyra. It's a similar tone to last week in that she stood up for herself. She bitched Becky, and the one thing that she expressed that I liked, Rob, was she said basically that, yo, when you left, the women's division around you got better. Everybody got better. And I love that because I remember when Becky came back, it felt like she was just acting like everything was back to what it was where she was last year, and I hated that because Liv improved, Lyra improved. Um, the other thing that I liked was Becky Lynch said, "It's not my job to help you guys and lift you guys up. It's my job to beat everybody. It's not my job to help everyone. It's my job to beat everyone." So she basically like, "Nigga, I don't have to get none of y'all over. That's not on me. It's on me to just be great, you know." But I also like that Lyra did the thing of like, oh yeah, she's like, yeah, no, totally, Becky, you've accomplished a lot of things. You won this, you won that, and you were the first women's IC champ. Oh wait, no, that's me. So she was basically like, sweetheart, I'm a history maker too. So Lyra Valkyria is really coming into her own verbally, and I'm just a big fan of how she's passing this trial by fire from WWE. And I do think coming out of this Becky program, she'll really be like a solidified person on the roster. And it's deserved. So shout out to Lyra. That was good stuff.
All right. Sorry, I was looking something up because somebody just said something in chat. Black Yakuzu 94, $5. So they're acknowledging Punk is the top face of Raw despite Jay being the champion. Is that indicative of a problem? No.
No, that was what it was before, and that's what it will continue to be.
Tokyo Sports just put out Tetsuya Naito is set to undergo surgery on his left eye on May 7th. He is also starting stem cell treatment on his right knee.
That's great news. That's incredible news. He couldn't see, and his knees were cooked. I'd like to think that when he returns from these issues, he'll be at least back to what he was a couple years ago, because the Tetsuya Naito that we were seeing at the end there was like really, really bad.
So is just his right knee that is fried, or is it also his left knee? Because I thought it was both knees that were fucking terrible, right?
Well, we're gonna find out soon, Rob. We're gonna find out soon. But that's great news that Naito's gonna like look after himself.
Ryan Cicchini, 279 Canadian. More and more, I want the Profits to join Heyman.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. They got to do something with the Profits because while the Profits are getting reactions for when they win matches, they're not getting reactions when they walk out in the arena. And it's kind of, I am of the opinion of it's because they changed their theme song because nobody recognizes that fucking new theme song that they have at all.
See, this is why I do hope I would love for it to mirror the Dangerous Alliance because they had like a squad of niggas. Because like ideally you'd have Seth Braun, a tag team, and a big guy at least, and also a singles heel tag, a heel guy, like so in a perfect world, right? All right, Dangerous Alliance. They had Rick Rude, they had Arn Anderson, they had Larry Zbyszko, they had Bobby Eaton. That's 4. There was somebody else in the group out of the male wrestlers. Rick Rude, Arn Anderson, Zbyszko, Bobby. Am I forgetting somebody? Chat. Well, chat's no help here. Who am I forgetting in this group? Because I remember the Dangerous Alliance had 5 niggas, right? Oh, Steve Austin. There we go. Steve Austin. Right. So yeah, like the Dangerous Alliance had those 5 guys, and they had Medusa and Paul Heyman. Now, in a perfect world with Paul Heyman's group currently, you'd have Braun and Seth, you'd have a tag team, and then you'd have another like singles guy. But like I want a big man, like I want a big man monster, and I want like a reliable working heel like an Ethan Page and like another dude. So I don't know what they end up doing, but I wouldn't hate the Profits, even though they wouldn't be my go-to.
Yeah, no, I like, I just want the Street Profits to get back to a point where they're like over like they used to be. Like they're still over, duh, but not as over as they used to be, and it's unfortunate. Okay, now this is what I wanted to talk to you about. Now Sports Fanatic said 40 rupees, Punk Cena win. Now it's I wanted Punk and Cena to happen at Money in the Bank because of their history with Money in the Bank in the match and so on and so forth. But WWE has made that realistically impossible now, seeing as how we got okay, so Backlash is next week and
It's
this
not next
weekend.
week. It's
No,
this
it's
week.
not next week. I was about to say it's this weekend.
This
Backlash
weekend.
is this weekend, and then we have Saturday night's main event, and then we have Money in the Bank right after Saturday night's main event.
Yep.
So realistically, that's a 3 week 3 week timeline.
Yep.
But okay, so and everybody's thinking that we're gonna get Cody and Cena at SummerSlam in a rematch. And so where would they find time to do Punk and Cena? Like where
I
would they find
I
time to do
don't
that?
I don't think Cody Cena at SummerSlam is a foregone conclusion. Would be my answer to your question. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion.
Okay, so if Punk is going to be on Raw fighting with these guys, which
Mm.
is another thing, and Cena has all basically mostly SmackDown dates, which means he's going to be on SmackDown for the rest of the year. How do they
Primarily.
find? Wait, what? Huh?
Primarily, they're gonna. I'll tell you, they're not gonna worry about brand split rules for Punk and Cena.
Okay.
The match is happening. There were ideas for Money in the Bank, but what I would say is just, I'm. How do I put this? I can't reveal off-record stuff, but the bottom line is, it's happening. Like that's just the bottom line. It's happening. So we'll see how they go about it. We'll see how they go about it.
Okay, and then Ibu, is the title change before or at SummerSlam?
I don't know. I don't know.
Van Jiminator 499. Ibu, if I said my favorite NBA teammate to be hashtag awkward, but what a game last night. It will be a great series. Shout out self made. Have loved the pods on WrestlePeers too. No, a lot of y'all niggas be doing that, bro. A lot of y'all niggas will come at me and be like, Rob, you're a Pelicans fan, or Ibu, you're a Knicks fan. But then when we start asking niggas what their teams are, niggas stop typing. Niggas start getting quiet. Niggas start getting quiet, bro. We start asking. Niggas start being like, Rob, you're a Saints fan. I'd be like, okay, what's your NFL team? Then then them niggas quiet because they favorite NFL team is the fucking Colts. Like, okay, bro. Like we know. I like okay, dude. Like, yeah. Stay quiet. But thank you, Van Jiminator. Thank you, Van Jiminator. Appreciate the super chat and appreciate your membership of Self Made. Hush 199. Does Triple H even rate Hendry outside of the meme?
No.
Exactly. Like I be bro.
But
You think no?
He didn't give a shit about the Awesome Truth either, but thought objectively like, of course I should use them at least for a bit because they're over. It's like one of those things.
Do you think, Ibu, and this is like pure you think, do you think that he gets a contract?
It depends, dude. He has months on his deal left. He thinks he is, so maybe he is.
Oh boy. Honest Assaultant 199. How would Triple H book Heights? How would Triple H book Heights? Say it seems to get Julia Moore.
It depends on how advanced he is by the time he gets to the main roster. I could see, but if Tavion really rounded into form, I could see Hunter putting him in American Made or some shit like that. But it is disappointing how little Shawn Michaels gets him.
Yeah, it's very. He could literally just slot him into like the Kurt Angle role on the show if he really wanted to, and he just doesn't want to do that for whatever reason. It's kind of confusing. Carl Nicholas 499. One thing I will always respect about Seth is that he is willing to wrestle on the weekly shows, which is normal when I was growing up.
I agree, and that's part of why the group was constructed this way. Rob is Seth is someone who's always going to be around and he's reliable, and to that point, I was worried that this Dangerous Alliance would never wrestle. They would just talk and do angles. And 2 straight TVs since the formation of the group, they've been wrestling. Braun wrestled last week. Seth wrestled this week, and they set up tags. So we're off to a really good start in that front. I want my top heels to wrestle. That's how you do wrestling TV. You know, that's what I meant about. They felt that the TV was hard to write last year because too much of the show was built around people that didn't wrestle.
Yes. And you got and with this Dangerous Alliance thing, you're gonna have younger guys that are less injury prone, willing to like. I don't think Braun has ever been injured in his WWE career, and I'm not gonna jinx him.
Don't fucking jinx it, Rob.
I'm not jinxing. I'm not jinxing him.
He wrestles
he's
in a
just
way.
Never taking time off.
He wrestles in a way where it blows your mind how he doesn't get hurt. But don't jinx.
Yeah, no, I'm not jinxing it. But he's never.
Even though he actually was mildly hurt around like God, that period between his last Sammy match, the 2 out of 3 falls, and then the Jey Uso match, he was banged up. But generally speaking, he's been good.
Bro, but I don't know. You need guys that are going to be willing to wrestle on the show every week, and it has to be younger guys. Because Seth Rollins, even though he's still a younger guy, So, Hush 199. Triple H hates Wyatt 6. No way he takes Righteous.
I don't have a comment on that, so I don't know. The Righteous probably do go to WWE. To be honest, they were going to go to WWE originally.
Yeah, probably. Whether maybe they get with Cross or I don't know. But he might go to WWE. Johnny Burning 199. Having a cookout for Backlash using the WWF cookbook. I'm crying. Yo, we were talking about that shit the other day. How they had cookbooks and data books and the encyclopedia that they released in the 2010s that had been wine in and shit. Which I didn't even think they would do that, but ish $20. I saw from Lucha Blog that El Fantasma said in an interview that Santos was there to represent El Hijo del Santo, to present El Hijo del Santo a WWE belt from sent from WWE when he was down in Mexico. One could think that WWE wants Hijo del Santo to co-sign them.
It's too early to tell and to know, man. In general, bro, I want to make this clear now. Yesterday, Rob, there was a lot of reporting about AAA and WWE. And some of it was conflicting. And all of them are from people, all of it was from people that are respected lucha media people. Ernesto Ocampo, Rob Viper, and Lucha Blog. But you know what I would like to ask everybody to do for now? Is to just let the process take place before we get reactionary about anything happening. Because the transaction, if I'm not mistaken, isn't even finalized and nothing has happened yet. And so because nothing has happened yet, literally just learn to sit back and see what they do. It's way too early to evaluate anything about what's going on. Which is why I'm not going to jump at any fucking headline about the thing to just go crazy about anything at this point. So really my mentality with a lot of this is to just sit back and watch and let it take place for us. I think like because the whole thing of screaming on Twitter about something and then an hour later this lucha guy says this and then another guy says this contradictory thing, it's just like, bro, I'm not living like that, bro. I'm just not gonna do it.
All right. Karam Mirchandani, 100 rupees. Starting Raw now, and I'm so happy we finally have an overworld champion on Mondays that top stars like Punk, Seth want to work with. Big leagues, baby.
Oh, we get it, Karan. You don't like Gunther. We get it, bro.
Gunther good. Oh, Gunther good. Oh. Hush 199. Malachi gonna have a 4 with Mello, and the timeline is gonna be nasty. That's another thing. Aleister Black faced Miz on Friday, and aside from the Miz's performance, who cares? Aleister was moving, man. He almost died on his moonsault sit down thing. But other than that, he was kind of moving. It's kind of moving.
I don't know about a 4, but it is going to be a good match. And Malachi moved well. I like him to drop those weak ass fucking shorts though. Those are like fucking. That's the shit I wear like in my house in the summertime. Like,
yeah, bro. Like go back to the
shorts are weak.
trunks, bro. You gotta take
Yeah,
the trunk. You gotta take the shorts off, bro.
Yeah, bro. Come on.
He did a cartwheel. No, yeah. Okay. Anyways, DB the Sage 4.99. Themes really matter. So many talents come out to silence, but pull the crowd in when the bell rings. Yeah, Jim Johnson said a couple years ago he's flipping channels, and he put on Raw, and he had no idea who was coming out because the music sucks nowadays, bro.
He's right, and the talent agree. The talent think that their music really holds them back. They talk about this.
Bro, there was a time period in NXT 2.0 when Braun had his theme. Ciampa had that new theme that he had as a tribute to his daughter, and like there was one other theme that you couldn't tell the difference between all three themes. So yeah, it's really bad now, bro. It's really bad. Speckles they actually caught. What does it say? Oh yeah, these are the last two super chats. They actually caught Tiffany Stratton and Maxine Dupree's themes sounding like literally alike and using the same riffs and shit last year. So yeah, they're not trying anymore. Speckles 199, proud Sixers fan. The Pelicans stink. Nigga, your star center has to have his hip taken out to fix his knee. Anyways, Sway 199. Aleister Black versus Melo is sad. I won't be gaslit.
Wait, what's sad about it?
Oh, you're so mad, nigga. Melo good. I don't like y'all be doing this Melo not really good. No, Melo good, bro. Like I'm not. Anyway, they carried SmackDown last year, by the way, with Andrade.
The drones on the timeline do a bit much with Melo. Like they act like he's like Hiroshi Tanahashi, but then like the other side of people act like Melo sucks, and he's good.
He's good, bro. The house has spoken 199. Who's gonna win the Giannis sweepstakes?
I'm not sure.
I'm not really sure if he's leaving.
I think it depends on how far the Knicks make it in the playoffs. If the Celtics beat us in the next 4 games, the Knicks are going to trade for him.
So who do they trade for him? Who do you think they trade for him?
I don't know. It could be Cat. So we'll see.
Cat's been really good for y'all though. Like I know.
Yo, King Tristan is right. See, he said they were trying to do that Trick is better than Melo shit in late 2023. Yeah, that was just never true, bro. Like, yes, Trick like had more aura and charisma and better size, but Melo was never a worse wrestler than Trick Williams. Like niggas are
I don't know who tweeted out that Trick Williams has surpassed Melo. I don't know who could tweet that out. That's
probably you, motherfucker. God damn. Are we done with the super chats?
No, we got like they keep coming in as we're like.
All right, let's get the next one, Rob.
Carl Nicholas 999.
Did you just call him Carlos nigga?
No, I almost called him Carlos. You
said
Carl
Carlos
Nicholas.
Nigga.
No, I did not say Carlos nigga.
You called him Carlos nigga. That is what you call this man, bro. Chat, am I lying, bro? That's exactly what Rob called this.
No.
Chat, I know y'all heard that, chat.
Carl Nicholas 999. I think WWE should let Trick work in TNA for the majority of the year to get better in the ring. He's exhausted his time in NXT. I don't think he gets any better being down there.
I will say agree. I think he's working with Eric Young and Frankie Kazarian and guys like that. Guys that are veterans that know how to wrestle.
Yes, them, the Rascals, Steve Macklin. He should do extensive work with Steve Macklin because they have kind of Steve Macklin's a guy like him who has the size advantage, and so he could teach him a few things to do with his size. But definitely he should remain in TNA a lot to get better.
He's done everything there is to do in NXT while not being main roster ready. If he goes to the main roster now, he'd be exposed and it'd be really bad for him.
All right. Jumanji Hunter, $2. Ibu, were you able to get any Athena info?
No, because I forgot to ask.
Yo, this guy.
I'm just being honest with niggas. I just forgot to ask. Oh,
Sway.
probably shit, nigga.
Sway, that's what he calls Storm. Well, hey. Sway 199. I love Mello. Alistair is mid. Oh, okay. I was about to say. Yo, you said it's sad, and I thought you were shitting on both, but hey, okay. Okay, the last super chat, Karan Mirchandani, 200 rupees. I understand that when you turn face from heel, you should retain what makes you cool, but Roman never changing or apologizing makes Heyman look like a baby face for turning on him.
I get
Yo,
I get what he's saying.
yo, tell Paul Heyman to apologize to all the niggas that he scammed. Anyways,
Oh my
like,
God, Rob is such a mark.
yo, tell Paul Heyman to apologize to all the
Rob
niggas
is
that he
such a
scammed.
mark.
What the fuck? Like, what are we? What? Paul Heyman being like, yo, I should get apologies. Nigga, you owe a lot of niggas apologies. What the fuck? Yo, anyways, like, what the hell?
I get what he's saying, and these Roman fans are forcing this thing of like, when Roman comes back, he's gonna be totally different. I'm like, what faith do you actually have in that? Like, do you actually have faith in Roman Reigns' character development? Do you actually believe in that? I don't know. See, I'll tell you this: CM Punk wants to do a personal story with him. That's a bit of a info. He wants to do a story where they basically like figure out each other's differences and learn more about themselves in the process. Like, it's kind of this like, ambitious idea basically he's going for, and that probably doesn't like make it very clear what I'm saying, but like he just wants to do like some extensive stuff with Roman in that respect. And so we'll see what happens. But I personally don't have faith in Roman Reigns' character development. Raccoon Main said, "Oh my God, Brokeback Mountain." Oh, come on, man.
All right, and yeah, that's crazy. All right, and that was the last of the super chat.
What did you think of the Raw main event, Rob?
I thought the Raw main event was fantastic. Like I said earlier in the show, I thought they did a really good job, as you said earlier, that they were trying to of Paul Heyman, not Paul Heyman, of Paul Heyman screwing Jey Uso out of the World Heavyweight Championship and trying to get the World Heavyweight Championship on to Seth Rollins. I did bite on every single near fall. As I said, watching on stream last night, I didn't speak for 20 fucking minutes, and people were like, "Yo, is Rob okay?" Because I just was silent the whole time in fear of Jey Uso losing the title so quickly. And that the match aspect of it was fantastic. I feel like both of them went out there and did their shit, bro. And Seth Rollins in a heel role shows that you don't have to change really much about yourself to be a heel. You can just do your shit more aggressively, and you could do your shit to where and you could work around it for people to make it more believable. The pedigree spot got me, even though everybody hates it. I like the pedigree spot. Cry. The fucking Falcon Arrow spot got me. All those things got me, man. And Jey Uso really had a great performance too last night, man. It takes two to tango. So hey,
Seth Rollins is very good at the WWE main event closing stretch.
yes,
He's very good at it. And as I'm watching the match, I'm trying to figure out what the finish is going to be. And I'm like, all right, what's going to be the big interference that changes things? So when Sammy came out, I thought, okay, that's the last one until it was CM Punk. But the way they arranged all the misdirections in order, it felt like the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens versus Judgment Day matches from 2023, where it's like, okay, that's the finish. Oh no, JD's out. Oh fuck. Oh no, but Dominic. Oh, then Cody came out to save them. Oh, then Seth Rollins is here, and then this person, and then Rhea Ripley's here. It felt like that, where you have a very layered closing stretch with a lot of complicated runouts, and this is why there's a good and bad version of everything. I know a lot of people don't like interferences and runouts. Sometimes it's bullshit, but this is like the really well done version of that kind of thing. And there is a good and bad version of everything. So I thought
bro,
that aspect of it was really.
and people think Bloodline Rules really started that. But bro, if you go back and watch like Attitude Era Raws and SmackDowns with like World Championship match finishes on like the TV shows, they used to do that a lot. Like they would have Stone Cold run out. The Rock would be facing like Triple H or something on a Raw, and then you would have Stone Cold come out. Billy Gunn and them come out, and to oppose Billy Gunn and the McMahon Helmsley faction, you would have like fucking Chris Jericho and them come out, and then you would have fucking then you would have like with some of the other heel main eventers in the group come out, and then you would have Stone Cold come out. Like they've always done this. They've always done shit like this.
Honestly, it was pioneered by Dude Love versus Steve Austin at Over the Edge 1998, where
Yes.
Vince got involved, and then Patterson and Briscoe got involved, and then Undertaker got involved. Like it's very similar to that. But I thought that match was really strong, very dramatic, very good suspense. You know.
Oh shit, we didn't mention this at all. There's one more super chat. This is the last super chat of the actual last super chat. Like just came in. Van Jiminator 499 excited for Rusev Sheamus dynamic. I know Evil's mentioned the tag, but even a little hard hitting trilogy would be cool. You know what they should do? I don't think they should do a best of 7, but I think they should do what they did with Sheamus and Cesaro with Sheamus and Rusev.
I agree. They want Rusev to be a heel at first, but I'm not opposed to Sheamus and him being a duo. So I'm into that. Sheamus's match with Theory was fine. Sheamus has a high floor for his TV matches. They're never bad. But Theory didn't show much to like really change the standing, in my opinion. But solid match. It's good to have Sheamus back. Like those earlier super chats said, like him in the mid card is important. Rusev Otis was decent. We talked about the EO match. Is there a match I'm forgetting on this show? We talked about the Penta versus JD. Yeah, that was fine. Yeah,
that was great. Yeah, that was good.
I just liked the show in the sense that like it felt like there was less filler on it. It felt like there was a lot of content and matches. They added Dominic and Penta to Backlash. That doesn't feel like a pay-per-view match. I will say their Raw after Mania match was like a lot better than the one they had on the Mania build. So let's see if they can take that to another level. I'm not really sure they can, but we'll see. AJ Styles appears to be going after the IC champ, so that'll be interesting. We'll see who it ends up being. I think that Penta is going to win the Intercontinental Championship at Backlash, though. I do think that's happening.
Like you said earlier, the Rusev Otis match, what like it became like okay, good. It started off very slow and then it became good. And I thought the post match that they did, where he just beasted on the entire Alpha Academy,
that was good.
Like, that was great. I think they should just kill the Alpha Academy, bro. I don't think it's working anymore. There's nothing alpha about that academy anymore. It killed Otis. They've killed Otis's momentum from the momentum he had like literally a year ago right now.
The problem though is then what do you do with Otis and Cesaro?
I would say,
you know what I'm
saying? I would say like send Cesaro to SmackDown to be in the U.S. title division, but like it's a Road Dogg book show, like
yeah, he's gonna just
be running around doing comedy with R-Truth, like.
So that's the problem. Is like there's no better alternative for them realistically. That's my problem.
It's like I'm getting sick and tired of this. Oh, Bryan Danielson said, "Oh, this is like godly secretly." Well, can we start fucking showing it, please? Can we start showing that Otis is godly? Like, or
and Otis
are we just gonna keep doing this potential? The big potential man, Otis. Like,
an Otis singles push on SmackDown would be cool. I should make this note now. I forgot to say this. Follow at Selfmade PW on Twitter. And in the bio, there's a link to our Discord. It's a Patreon link. And if you join it, for just $5, you can get in our Discord. And we do match recommendation watch-alongs. We watch pay-per-views. We do game nights, movie nights, things like that. All kinds of cool stuff in the Discord. And all the spaces, if you guys remember, like I used to do all those Twitter spaces, I've moved those into the Selfmade Discord. I did one on Sunday extensively talking about the releases. And if you miss certain things, we will upload the archives to for our patrons. So subscribe to the Selfmade Discord. Sometimes I might break news in there. I actually broke the Mariah May to leaving AEW news was broken by me. I don't know if I broke it, but I did speak extensively on it in Selfmade. And I will have more on Mayu Iwatani versus Io Sky in the Discord right after the show. So join Selfmade, and I will see you guys after this podcast to kind of talk some more about the Mayu stuff.
Yes. Speaking of, like, I know people have wanted more content in there. I'm gonna do a Twitch stream. immediately after that space, and Ibu gets through what he has, the scoops that he has. But after that stream, probably at like 11 p.m. I'll end my stream. I'm gonna be streaming some old wrestling in there tonight. I'm gonna put a poll up of what's gonna be Attitude Era or it's gonna be like old NWA, like, and it could be any promotion, Mid South, like Georgia. But I'm gonna be streaming some old wrestling in the Discord tonight for y'all. So
You should
y'all.
do. I'm not gonna be there, but if I'm you, I would just mix it up. I'd mix it up.
Yeah, I might do like an episode of Attitude Era, some NWA stuff. Like I'm gonna stream in there tonight for y'all.
Netflix, bro.
Raw's not. I got no, but I use the Watch Wrestling site because it has a Raw archive for the like old Raw episodes. So yeah.
Maybe.
And this is the last super chat of the show before we get out of here. Corey David, $2. Rob, remember Nathan Frazier losing his good thing?
Oh my his first theme was good.
Yo, that theme will be used by him in my universe mode, y'all. So don't worry, he's not using that shitty theme he has now. But he will keep the Never Slow Down. So, but yeah, no, that was the last super chat. I know Ibu. Did you have anything else you wanted to get through before we get out of here and we start plugs?
No, I'll be in Self-Made in about 4 minutes. It won't be super long. I'll just tell you guys what's going on with Mayu and EO, and then I'm gonna go to work. So, thank you for listening to the show. Appreciate you guys. Subscribe to Russell Pierce if you're not subscribed already. Like the video if you haven't liked the video, and join Self-Made, man. It's a good Discord.
I'm gonna drop the Patreon link.
I was watching a lot of old graps last night, and it was so much. I mean, 2 nights ago, it was so much fucking fun. You know, we were watching Akira Hokuto versus Shinobu Kandori. We were watching Terry Funk and Tsushi Onita. We watched Mercedes Moné versus Hazuki. The other night, we were watching a bunch of stupid backyard wrestling. We have a great time in there, man. We really do. And we do the spaces in there. We do our pods in there. We do watch-alongs in there. Most wrestling TVs are streamed in there. So it's worth the money, in my opinion. And it's very interactive. And we try to be as active as possible. And you can typically reach me in there. So I would recommend joining the Discord. And I'm going to be in there after this. So you can take the show home, Rob.
All right, guys. I am going to be, like I said, I'm going to be, after Ibu gives the information on the Mayu match with Io Sky, I am going to be streaming live on Twitch for NXT. I'm going to be streaming live on NXT, and then I'm gonna watch something. I'm gonna probably watch a couple matches before NXT, some old NXT matches or something like that. And then when NXT starts, I'll watch that. Then I'll stay for a little bit after NXT, probably talk NXT, and then watch another match or something before I get out of there. And then at 11 p.m. Eastern tonight, I'm gonna go in Self-Made. Probably 11:30 Eastern, but chill for a little bit. Then I'm gonna go in Self-Made and watch some wrestling tonight. Possibly, you know what, I'm gonna probably wait till after the playoff game. That's happening tonight around that time. So after the playoffs tonight, I'll be streaming some wrestling. So make sure y'all, and so make sure y'all get into that. Ibu, you want me to do the outro? Or you're gonna? I can do the outro if you need me to.
I'll do it. Thanks for listening, everybody. For Rob, I'm Ibu Russell Pearson. I'll see you guys next time.
All righty.